Good evening, good evening. It's time for Pillow Talk. God bless you guys. Come on in. Blessings, blessings. Yes, God bless you. Come on in. We are excited about Pillow Talk on this week. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be revelatory. It's going to empower you and equip you in your marriage, in your relationships, whether you're wanting to get married, you are married, or have been married. So it is a time that we come together, we inspire each other, we encourage each other so that we can be all that we have been destined to be, and for our marriage to represent Christ's relationship with the church. And so we are fighting for successful marriages. We are fighting against divorce, against separation, against all of those things that will come to try to separate marriage and tear marriages apart. So we are here to encourage you on tonight. So thank you so much for joining in with us. Invite some people, let them know that we're on, let them know that they can come and be a part of this time. It's going to be interactive. You're going to be able to ask questions as we go through these things of why we got married, the 10 top reasons of why why we're here, why we're together. And so we're excited about that on tonight. And so many of you know our story, but we're going to give you insight into our lives, insight into our marriage, why it works, and so the things that we've learned in our marriage, things that we've learned through other people and their relationships. And so we want to pass on that information to you because we want you to be successful in your marriages and all of your relationships. So thank you again for joining in with us. We are truly excited about that on tonight. So thank you so much for being such a great part of our lives and everything that we have been assigned to do in the earth. And so we're glad that you're a part of that as well. So God bless you guys. Come on in. Thank you. So we again are so grateful for that. Many of you have really given us testimonies that some of the things that we've said has really been able to help you in your marriage and even going into marriage, because many times we prepare for the wedding, we prepare for the bridal shower and all of those different things, but we don't always prepare for things that we don't know, that we will have to face and deal with when we get married. And so sometimes those things change. We're many times in the phase that we think everything's going to be perfect, and I'll change him or her, or they will never change. And so there is a reality, and it's called marriage. And so we want to help you through that process. So thank you guys so much for coming in and tuning in with us on tonight. Yes.
Well,
thank you. The praiser, God bless you, Marcus. Different ones are here and coming on, and let others know that we are here. Thank you for the hearts. If you can give us some hearts, we certainly appreciate it. It lets us know that you're here and you're interactive with us, and so we're grateful. Thank you guys so very much for joining in with us.
Okay. You want to tell them about any of the announcements we have coming up pretty soon?
Absolutely. Many of you follow us already, and you take part sometimes in our midday scopes and occasionally midnight cry. And so we want to certainly invite you guys who are up and coming global mega suddenly. That is August the 1st through the 3rd. So please mark your calendars, check the airlines and get your ticket. You can certainly go to our website and see all of the information and get registered for that. And so our guests that we will be having a part of that conference will be Apostle John Eckhart, Sophia Ruffin. We will have Samuel Abaleta out of Lima, Peru, as well as Andy Eduarda out of Curacao. Very powerful men of God that will be speaking. Also, Apostle Tao will be with us as well. Great man of God. And so he pastors the Ramp Church in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So he's going to be here with us, along with different other psalmists that will be here as well. My husband and myself, of course, and many other people are really, really excited. As you know, within the past year, a little over a year, God gave us one word at the beginning of last year. And so this is a culmination of the different places that we've gone to, the Philippines, Australia, Trinidad, various cities within the United States. And so there are more that we will be going to even throughout this year that will be a part of the Global Mega Suddenly. So we're really excited about that. You guys will be able to finally meet each other. You kind of interact sometimes on the different broadcasts, but you'll be able to for the opportunity to meet each other, and we'll be able to meet you as well. Really excited about that. And that's Thursday the 1st, Friday the 2nd, of course, and then that Saturday, we're doing something that we haven't seen done. I'm sure maybe it has been in different conferences, but we are going to have a Caribbean barbecue on the beach. So you'll be able to come down to sunny Tampa, Florida, and take part in that. We're going to have ribs, chicken, jerk chicken, barbecue chicken, all those different things. So you'll be able to take part in that. So we're really, really, really excited about, just really a time of fellowship, a time of just coming together and being equipped and empowered to do what God has called us to do. So really excited. If you're in the Port Arthur area, Port Arthur, Texas, please join us there. Go to our website, get more information on our itinerary, but we will be there doing a suddenly, and we would also be joined by Prophet Dylan Coleman will be there with us, and just an amazing prophetic voice, one of our dear covenant brothers that will be joining in with us. So please come and be a part of that. The registration is free, but if you certainly want to, during even our Global Mega Suddenly, we have premier seating, and so that gives you an opportunity to have more perks and gifts and special seating and things like that. So if you can, please register premier. That would certainly help us in our endeavors to make sure that this conference is successful. And so again, thank you guys so very much.
Well, I got a big announcement for you. I got a really big announcement. And this announcement is going to be the biggest announcement we've made in some time. They ready? You think they're ready for it? Well, we announced today that we are pregnant and we are having a baby, and he's about to be born, and his name is Breakthrough. Somebody was like, uh-oh, what are they getting ready to tell us? Listen, we declared today that there were people who were pregnant who have been uncomfortable, and you're getting ready to have a baby called Breakthrough.
Yes.
And the baby called Breakthrough, listen to me, many of you have been wanting breakthrough in your relationship, breakthrough in your finances, breakthrough in your marriage, breakthrough in other areas. I'm telling you, your baby's about to be born. Yes, sir. And his name is going to be Breakthrough. Amen. Well, listen. Some of y'all got to laugh out of that.
Some of you been carrying that baby.
Deborah laughed so hard.
Yeah, some of you been carrying that baby longer than 9 months. Some of you been carrying it 9 years. Some of you been carrying that baby for 12 months. But this is your time, even in your relationships, to break through, in your marriage, to break through the barriers, to break through monotony, to break through tiresome and weariness, to break through mistrust, break through all of those barriers that have come against your marriage and your relationships.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Listen, I was having a conversation on, I think it was Friday morning. I was in Fort Lauderdale, and I was having a conversation with one of the Suddenly family members, one of the people that's been with us like ever since the beginning. And myself and Alvin were talking, and Alvin asked me the question. He said, he was talking about being in a relationship. I'm not going to tell a lot of his business, but one of the things he said, how did you know that she was the one? And when I got through telling him my story, he looked at me, he said, man, I have never heard a man say it like that. And I never heard anybody say it like that. And so as a result, I think it really touched his heart. But I told him, I said, well, I couldn't say that, you can't never say that somebody is just this or that. But what I could say was, I knew I didn't want to be without her. And I remember that day as I walked up the stairs, and we were walking down the stairs. We were leaving the house. We kind of told you the story one time, the first time we met. And I'm walking back down the stairs, and I knew when I was walking back down that stairs that I just knew that I didn't want to be without her the rest of my life. And so I knew that for me meant something, because I realized that, if the truth be told, I'd been married before. I really said I didn't really want to even be married again.
Right. Likewise.
And so, we were both saying I want to be married again, but then we realized I really don't want to be without you. I really enjoy being with you. So I want to give you some of those. So the first thing I said, the reason why we got married was because we knew we didn't want to be apart. We knew that being together, there had to be purpose in it. Come on, you got to know that whoever you marry, there's got to be
purpose.
There's got to be purpose in it.
Yes.
Your son Kente said, "Mom is one of a kind. Women could really learn a lot from her." And then Reggie said, "Go ahead, Pops." And that's, oh man, bless your heart.
And one of the things I wanted to say, and I think we've mentioned this before, even though we were in amazing times of our lives, amazing time of transition in our life. And even though everything in our life was not perfect, because many times people feel as though when I get this together, then I'll get married. When I do this, and I'll get married. And of course, you want to, give yourself the best footing when you're getting married. So you want to make sure some things are okay or whatever. But we didn't, there were some things in our life that was not perfect. They were not perfect. But we knew what God said. We knew that, even because God was telling me that it was going to be quickly before we got married, and God had been sending prophetic words to me and saying that, yes, son, thank you so much, saying, you're going to meet your husband. It's going to be so quick. You're going to get married so quick. And I'm just like, God, what are you talking about? And I began to give God so many different excuses as to why I couldn't get married, why it would not be the best for me at this point in my life, so I was kind of going back and forth with God. But I said, what, God, whatever you want to do, I'm fine with it. So when I said, God, whatever you want to do, then all of a sudden we meet, but everything was not perfect in our lives.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't say, oh, I can't do it because of this, even though that's what the excuse that I gave. God had another plan. And so there are some times when God wants to use that insufficiency to show you how much he is God.
Wow. So another thing for me, and I'm going to let my wife share what spoke to her, but another thing for me was that she actually met the things that were on my list. So I had written a list. I had kind of composed a list. I said, I would want, this, I want that, I want this piece, I want that piece, I want this, I want that. And so everything that was on my list was something that that she actually possessed. And so I'm looking at this list and I'm checking things off. And so for me, it was very important that I had, because see, the other reality is that although God can send you somebody, you want somebody that actually does or has the different requirements that, of course, that you're attracted to. Because all of us are different. All of us are attracted to something different. Everybody's attracted to someone different. And so you got to at least have some of the things on your list that you write down. And so, you don't want that to necessarily be a superficial list. Now, by the time we met, I was just a little bit older. I was over 20, I was over 30, and so I was in a place where I really understood more of who I was as a man, my assignment in the earth as a leader, as a person. And so as a result, I think for me, it really helped me to understand how to be able to walk through the process that was necessary to really know what I wanted, and how to write down the things that I felt like I was looking for in a particular relationship. And so when I began to write those things down, it was more than superficial things like, shape, form, looks, those kind of things, but also things, that, okay, Chantel, I had to take my glasses off for that one. And so, so I had to make a list. Right. Now, Chantel, I have been where you potentially are. I had been in a relationship and kind of left the relationship somewhat distasteful of marriage. Didn't want to be married again. But I think if you find the person for whom you were created for purpose to match with, it does something for you.
Yes.
Let me give you a couple other principles that I looked at. Number one, like I said, she met the things on my list. She was the height. She was the skin complexion. She was, there were certain things that I just asked God for. Mm-hmm. And with those things, she was there. And so, and so it blessed me. Because again, then there was something else external. There were the external things, but then there were the internal things. Mm-hmm. Like, does this person have a desire to really please you? Does this person have a desire to love you? Is this person willing to sacrifice for you? Is this person willing to give up some things for you? You know? Right. And so these things were very important to me. Do they understand your purpose? Do they understand mm-hmm. how to bring out your purpose? Right. Some of the reason why we have bitter things about marriage is because we were in the wrong relationship with the wrong people. Mm-hmm. And so you're in the wrong relationship. Well, anytime something is operating outside of its function and purpose, it's going to be misused. Absolutely. And it's going to be abused. So when things are misused and abused, the result of it is that there's usually anger that comes from the thing that's misused or abused.
Absolutely. And it was important for us that we allowed God, before we got married, we allowed God to walk us through the healing process, but yet and still, we had to really be conscious of the fact that we did not, and be aware not to allow what we had experienced in the past to really affect where we were currently.
Now, let me say something about it. I got to be honest on my end. I got a prophetic word not too long after we were married from one of our close friends that said, she is going to help to heal the brokenness of your heart. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that I had to have a wife that I could trust, because there were broken places in my absence of trust in relationship was based upon some things that I had gone through. Mm-hmm. And so based on what I had gone through, there was an absence of trust. Now, likewise, there were some things that my wife had gone through that really had her in a place where she didn't necessarily trust 100% all the time either. Mm-hmm. And so even though we were able to function in so many other capacities in life, mm-hmm. there were still functions and capacities and places that we were not able to function in because of the fact of what we had experienced. Right. So she taught me how to trust again. And one thing I'll always tell people is, and this is pillow talk, so I'm talking about marriage stuff, but I never had to worry about her and what she was doing or what she would do, because her heart is she's just so sweet. I mean, she's just, she's a pretty tough little cookie, but she's she's really sweet. And at the end of the day, I know that she loves me. Right. So that for me meant a lot, because, the thing is, sometimes people think men don't get hurt. Right. Or they think we as men, we don't hurt, we do all the hurting, but we don't ever get hurt. Right. And but the truth is we do.
Absolutely. This is something we've experienced even recently, where we've had a couple situations where there have been someone is looking like potentially to get married. And so they really like this person. Let's say the woman really likes the man, but the man has gone through so much hurt, and he feels as though people just want to take from him. And he's been hurt to the point of he was previously married for a very short period of time. Then several years after that, he got engaged, and the person that he was engaged to left him for someone else. Mm. And so with all of that, and plus there were some other situations as well with family that were challenging. So here this man is a good man, but just have a real challenge with trust, a real challenge with how to really be the man or the husband that he's been ordained to be, because he doesn't accept the wife or the person that God has given to him.
Yeah, so I think hurt doesn't necessarily have a gender on it. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it meant a lot to have her. It would have taken my wife to actually be able to heal my heart. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to give you another one in a few moments that it's going to challenge some of y'all perspectives of ministry and life and marriage and stuff. But I want to give you a few in a moment. They're going to do that. One of the other principles. Go ahead.
And with that, it takes patience. It takes patience. It takes being able to suffer long sometimes. It takes being able to really begin to see things not just through your eyes, but to see things through the other person's eyes that's going through that process. Mm-hmm. That God has assigned you to bring them to the place that they need to be. And so in the process, again, that's what he was for me as well. So we begin to walk through that process. I had to understand his background. I had to understand, he talks about, him growing up, not living with his mother, have never met his father, going through those situations, came from the poorest city in the second poorest state in the United States, going into the military. That's a whole nother mindset, a whole nother dynamic of what has really fashioned his thinking, so on and so forth. So you go through those different processes, and so it's going to take patience. It's going to take, marriage is not just when everything is perfect. Marriage is not a fairy tale. You have real life issues, real life circumstances that you are going to have to deal with. And so even as a wife, you're going to have to deal with some things that perhaps you didn't deal with in the dating stage, and perhaps you didn't know about, or even you felt as though...
Not perhaps. You're going to deal with some stuff once you get married that you didn't deal with dating.
Yes.
Because you got to wake up to this person every morning now.
Yes.
And you're going to have to deal with the stuff that you could sugarcoat when you were dating.
Right.
Because when you sugarcoating, you can just smile at each other, and at the end of the night, you both go home.
Right.
But you don't have to deal with the issues. You don't have to deal with how does he deal with depression? How does he deal with anger? How does she deal with fear? How does this person deal with lust? How does the person deal with the frustrations of life? How do you deal with having a hard day at work? How do you see? Because when you were dating, you only saw each other when it was convenient and when you felt like seeing each other.
Sure.
You don't always see each other when things are not good. How do I deal with my insecurities? How do I deal with my fears? How do I deal with the days when I don't feel like dealing with anybody? How do you deal with your personality? You're an introvert. I'm an extrovert. What happens when I want to invite people over and you're like, I don't want to deal with anybody today? What happens when you want to invite somebody over and I'm like, I don't want to deal with anybody today? How do you mesh and deal with all of those personality things and situations when it's what it is?
Right.
And so you got to look at that. You got to think about it. You got to organize your life around it. Because as you say, you're going to deal with some stuff being married you didn't deal with not being married. Now you add all of that. You complicate it by having children together. You complicate it by what happens when a woman has children. Oftentimes her husband is no longer the main focus. Now he's the secondary focus. Now how do you deal with it now as the man when she no longer is focusing on you when you're used to getting all the attention? Now y'all got to either put your both attention on the children or she gets the attention on the children. Now where does your attention go, and where is the concern for me and for what my needs are? When you got this baby full time, now you working with the baby, you're dealing with the baby. I'm working. Maybe you deal with the baby during the evening because maybe you go back to work too. So now you're working, I'm working. Then when we come home, we got these children. By the time they go to bed, we're not working on our marriage.
Right.
And then we begin to drift apart because we're not working on this marriage. We're not working on me and you. We're working on this building a family, working a job. We're dealing with these children. Or what happens when you get married and then later on, like we got married later in life, our children are grown, and so it was not necessarily the same scenario. Right. But then how do you continue to make the marriage work? We're in ministry. And so what happens when you travel a lot without your spouse? We made a determination we wouldn't travel without each other.
Right.
And so we're not traveling without each other. Or what happens when you marry into a blended family? How do you deal with the fact that because we counseled one couple and I told them and so the mother had some sons, and so you got sons already that are not sons of the husband that you have, and so you don't want anybody disciplining your children. But no, when you got married to him, he should have the right to help discipline your children because they're living in his house. Right. So now you got a problem. You don't say anything to my children. So now there's a problem. Right. So how do you merge blended families? All these things are issues that have to come up, and these are things that erode intimacy. Now you in the middle of the night talking about, hey baby, rolling over, you rolling over touching your spouse, and your spouse like, don't touch me, because earlier you act real nasty with me, so don't touch me. And so you deal with all of this stuff, and this is the stuff that people go through that leads them to divorce courts.
Absolutely.
So one of the other thing is, like I said, number one, I don't want to live without her. She actually met every request on my list. Then, here's the difficult one. Even when she doesn't like me, she loves me. And even when I don't like her, I love her. Somebody said, you mean y'all don't like each other? No, there are some days when we get on each other's nerves.
Yes.
Don't ever think you're going to get married to somebody and you're going to... There are some people, let me tell you something. Since somebody just judged me. One of y'all just judged us. But you have people in your family that you don't like.
Yep.
You have the people in your family you don't get along with. You like, my God, you got a cousin on your grandmama's side. You like, my God, I don't even know if they're in my family. I don't really like them like that. But the truth is, you got to love each other even when you don't like each other's actions.
Yes.
There are times when my actions I'm not always the perfect person. I know you think because I'm this great anointed man of God and she's a woman of God and we pray and we prophesy and we do all this stuff that everything is perfect. Absolutely not. There were some days when I do some stuff that I'm sure gets on her because I'm really driven and I'm really focused. And man, when we first got married, she was like, my God, can we just get one thing done? I'm trying to do 5 things. I'm trying to read 5 books. I'm going 5 countries. I got 5 conferences. You know, it's one thing. Most people just do one conference in one city at a time. Man, I'm planning for 5 different cities at one time. I'm trying to pastor a church. I'm running business. I'm doing all of this stuff. And my wife was like, my God, can we just focus on one thing? I'm like, it's not even in my nature to focus on one thing. I'm a multitasker by virtue. So there's times when she didn't like that. She like, my God, can you just give me a break? Can I just, but then I think God did prepare you because as a nurse, sometimes you work 70, 80 hours a week.
Yes.
Then went to ministry and you worked all weekend in ministry. So you were prepared for that. But it's still like, again, I didn't tell her this before we got married.
Right.
Then there were some things that God didn't even tell me. There's some things we're still developing. We're still evolving. We're still growing into. And so when I look at that, I'm like, my God, I mean, like, really? And I know you were like that. So there are some times when you're not going to potentially just like the actions of your spouse.
Right.
If your spouse wakes up in the morning and their breath doesn't smell good, you're not going to like that. Nobody wants to get hit with, in the face with something like that early in the morning. I'm laughing. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get up and run when I say it. Now, I'm going to run it. You know how you have to throw the rock and hide your hand? I'm finna say this, and I'm going to run. There are some nights when my wife snoring gets loud. I'm like, baby, did you hear you saw in the tree? I don't always
snore. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. But here it is, just a few years after marriage, now you snore. And so if I don't go to sleep first or put my earplugs in, we're going to be in trouble. Yeah. So I'm saying all that to say it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that you understand how to love each other despite the issues and the frailties of the spouse.
Right, because at no time, ladies and gentlemen, can you ever think that you don't have any issues. Never at any time to think that you're the perfect husband or the perfect wife. There is no such thing as being perfect. You're going to always have something that you're working on, that you're overcoming, that you got to get rid of, that you got to add to. So there's always a process of becoming, always a process of growing your marriage. Just like you grow in any other area of your life, there is a process in growing your marriage, making your marriage become more than it is. And so having to have patience with that other person through that process. You know, he's talking about me snoring. Sometimes, you know, he'll say, Valora, and I know what that means, or he'll kind of tap me, you know, and it makes me feel so bad because I don't want to interrupt his sleep. I know he doesn't sleep that much, so I don't want to interrupt his sleep. So I always feel so bad when that happens, but he's patient with me. We wake up and he's like, hey, good morning, how you doing? Or then sometimes he'll say, you know what, I didn't really sleep last night. And I just oh my goodness, I felt so bad. But he still loves me, even though he didn't like the fact that I was snoring and I kept him up. He still loves me. Right.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important. Mm-hmm. Somebody says she can't help it. She be tired. And you know what? Let me tell you something. You know, that's true. I wish I could. I'm going to see if you can't help them people out. So if you get on our scope and you're saying adverse words, we're going to quickly help you get off. And we're going to release you from that responsibility to watch us tonight. If you are cutting up, somebody call that block ministry. But at any rate, you got to go back to the other thing, I think. Or did you sign in? I don't know. But anyway, so I'm saying that to say I think it's very important, though, for us to really, really be in that place where we really can understand how to love each other in the midst of the storms, in the midst of the trials, in the midst of life's various tosses and turns and other storms and other things that you go through. You got to learn how to love each other. Right. Because the reality is, if you stay together, any couple that's been together over 50 years or over 10 years or over 5 years or over whatever, you're going to go through something. You're going to endure some processes. It's not always going to be good. Any relationship,
even
any
over
covenant.
3 months.
Yeah, any covenant. Any relationship you go through.
Yes.
And so these things test our resolve to endure even in the challenged places. It's not going to be perfect. Let me tell you something. There were some weeks. I get in trouble with the stuff I say because I say real stuff. Okay, so check it out. She's like, what's he getting ready to say? What happens when I don't feel like shaving and I don't feel like getting my hair cut? I'm just tired. Sometimes I'm on vacation. I'm just tired. I don't feel like doing it. So she got to look at me like that. One day, I went to the beauty salon with my wife. Now, mind you, my wife's hair is like down to here somewhere. But one day I went to the beauty salon. And in the beauty salon, y'all look just slightly different than y'all look after you leave the beauty salon. Am I right?
Okay, yes, I would agree to that.
Okay. And most times women don't let the man go to the beauty salon with them.
Right.
Now, why don't y'all let the men in the beauty salon?
Because we don't necessarily want you to see that process of transformation.
Okay, I got you. So y'all don't want us to see the process between where you at and where you going.
Yes.
Right, okay? I got it. No problem. See, this is the stuff though, but if you love somebody, you can see them in their transformation process.
At their worst.
And at their best.
And at their best.
And sometimes we only want somebody to see us at our best. That's another reason why we got married, was because I told her about my worst. She told me about her worst.
Right.
I'm like, this is the worst that I've been.
Because it is so key and so important to be transparent and honest in your relationship. You have to, because it's gonna come through one way or another. So you might as well be transparent about it in the very beginning. And so, because if not, it's gonna come to a point of mistrust. Because you realize, like, why didn't you tell me this? Now we're having to deal with certain things and you didn't even tell me. And so it is important. And so with doing that, they then have the option to say, you know what? Yeah, I still want to proceed with this, or you know what? It's a little bit too much for me.
Right. Give them the option.
Yeah.
So we laughed about it. And I talked about this last time. And some of y'all be like, man, he goes way in. Absolutely. Because this is stuff that's real. If you get married to this brother and this is not your hair. These are not your eyelashes. These are not your eyebrows. These are not your body parts. Come on. You got your everything messed up. Then you need to let that person know.
Right.
Don't get married to that person. And listen, if your credit is bad, tell them.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
If you can't have children, tell them.
Right.
If you don't like children, tell them. If you don't know how to handle money, let them know. Because if you don't let the person know and they find out later, then it's going to be a problem. If you have a bad background, you need to let the person know. And so we told each other everything. And so then we give each other the option to say, that's another reason I married, because she accepted me for me.
Right.
And she was like, okay, you got a testimony. I don't want anybody that doesn't have a testimony.
Absolutely.
I remember the day when, this is real funny. So I remember the day that I was telling her, because I was doing ministry in Memphis. And so I'm doing ministry. I'm a part of this ministry called Icon Ministry. Icon is the Greek word for image. And so when we see the word image, you can create it in His image. In the New Testament, it's the Greek word icon, E-I-K-O-N. And so I was a part of Icon Ministries, which was a discipleship program in the city of Memphis. And I remember one of the responsibilities that we had was to move into neighborhoods and transform the neighborhood from the inside out. And I laughed so hard, y'all. So one day I called and she was like, well, I would love to come to Memphis, and, we can, I'd love to come to Memphis. I was like, we'd love you to come, and, it'd be cool or whatever. And so she was going to come to Memphis. And so now, mind you, it was only a 2-week period. This is funny. This happened between the 2-week period that I came to Florida and then I got ready to leave Florida. So in them 2 weeks, I'm like, well, I don't know if I want you to see where I live. Maybe, you could, you come visit or whatever, and maybe whatever. And so it was funny. So she says, well, I already saw where you live. And I'm saying to her, like, what you mean you saw where I live? So then all of a sudden she says, I saw where you live. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you saw where I live? And so then all of a sudden she proceeds to tell me, because see, I wasn't as computer literate as she was. So she began to say, well, I looked on Google Earth and I saw your house. I saw your neighbor to the left and the neighbor to the right. I said, now what you been doing, Googling my Earth and all this stuff? So it was really funny to me. But I love the fact that, that I could be honest with her, because I was living in a neighborhood. Now my little house was cool. It was a little 1-bedroom. It was really like 2 bedrooms. So it was 2 bedrooms. But 1 bedroom I used as my office. And so that's where I would counsel people. That's where, because with the ministry, we'd get turkeys for Christmas. We'd get turkeys and stuff for Thanksgiving. And we just had, it was like an outreach house in that community. And I was living in Binghamton. Man, Binghamton is one of them, it's one of the hoods, And so, because like on one end of the street, there were prostitutes and drug dealers. And on the other end of the street, there was some other crazy stuff going on. So I was in the midst of just a crazy place. And so I laughed, man, when she said, oh, I've already seen where you live. And I'm like, what you mean you saw where I live? So I guess she sent me a package or something. And so in sending me the package, she was trying to get the address so she could see where I was living at, y'all. I ain't had no big house. It wasn't really all of that. It was just, it was what it was. And so I said, listen, this girl here is...
Yeah, many times, even as I was saying that, but we knew it was God. I'm not saying that you can just accept anything or just put up with anything and say, oh, it's going to work. No, we knew without a shadow of a doubt that this was God. Mm-hmm. And so God had prepared the both of us. We had gone through situations in life that prepared us for each other. But even though we were prepared, even though it was God, we still had to walk through the process, through the process of healing, through the process of trust, through the process of surrender, through the process of submission, through the process of dying. All of those things, we still had to go through the processes so that we can do what God had called us to do. And so, many times as a woman, we want that safety. We want someone to protect us. We want someone to provide for us. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what if that person is not able to do everything that you want them to do initially? And so being able to see beyond where they were at that moment. And not listening to yourself, not listening to anybody else, but really staying in tune with God to understand, okay, God, what is my assignment? Not just as a wife, but as a wife, but I'm just saying, what is my assignment to Him as a person, as a wife, as an intercessor? What is my assignment? Because one of the things that I really valued about him was he had a great vision. He had a great vision. He had things written down. He knew where he had been, and he certainly knew where he was going. And so I had to be able to, because he was very detailed in that, I could see what he was saying. I could see it. I could see myself in the vision. I'm like, wow. As the Word of God says, write the vision, make it plain. Those that read it will run with it. So as I was reading his vision that he had written down, I was like, oh, wow, that's my part. And so I could take part of it because, again, I could see what he was saying. And so it really was compatible to what even with myself, the things that God was doing in me, and showing me as well. So our vision, there was something that leaped inside of me when I was around him, that leaped inside of me when I began to see and to read the vision that God had given to him. And so together, we begin to come together and begin to say, oh, wow, this will work. Let's choose a name. Let's come together. He had part of it. I had the other part. So, God really married us, not just as persons of a husband and wife, but he married ministries. He married lifestyles together. He married all these things. And one of the things that I said not long ago is, God will give you a vision, but it's up to you to make it successful. God will give you a marriage, but it's up to you to make it successful.
Yeah, I love that. Because it takes work, and it takes a lot of hard work. I think anything that you do is going to take work.
Sure.
So you got to put something into it so you get something out of it.
Yes.
I think it's illegal to take money out of a bank that you've not put any in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so it's the same thing works with a relationship. It's illegal to expect to receive something back from a relationship you've never put anything into. Mm-hmm. And so you got to be willing to do what it takes to put something into your relationship so that you can get something out of it.
Sure.
And for me, it's important. I always tell people, man, don't marry somebody that's not your best friend, because eventually that's a recipe and a cocktail for divorce. Mm-hmm. If you marry somebody that you're not friends with them, you're not best friends with them, y'all can't laugh together, man, it's times when we gotta, especially doing ministry, man, you gotta be able to laugh together, be silly together. Because if you don't laugh together, you gon' and then let me say this: learn how not to become infight when things outside the pressures of life are coming at you. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to be friends first. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not friends first, you'll actually devour each other because of stuff going on around. And I see people do that, where you married and man, y'all fight more when the pressure comes on you. No, when the pressure comes on you, you need somebody that stands back to back with you to fight with you and fight against the things that are coming outside. Mm-hmm. And the reality is, if y'all ain't friends, man. I was telling somebody that today about doing ministry, and I've got some people that, some amazing people, and some of them are on here that we do ministry with. But in this season of my life, I'm not really I don't need to be validated. I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm not thirsty. I'm just in a place, man, where I love my life. I love my family. I love my ministry. I love the things I'm doing. Are there things we could do better? Absolutely. Are there things that we'd like to see better? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I'm so content with God and where God has us at that there's some things I'm not tripping over. So I'm saying that to say, I want to be with somebody that I really enjoy being with. We can laugh. We can be transparent. We can be real. The people that are connected to us, they see every now and then I have to, fuss about something or she fuss about something, but they can see that. And we don't have to hide this stuff because it's who we really are. Absolutely. And sometimes people hide so much of who they are that when the stuff comes out and you find out who people really are, you're like, man, I didn't know that's who you really were. Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. Can you love me when I take my hair off? Can you love me when I take my eyelashes? Can you love me when I take my fingernails off? Can you love me if you see my feet without if you see my hands without the acrylic nails? Do you like my hands? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So you might say, well, that's simple, man of God. Can you? No, that's real. That's what can you love your spouse absent of all the other stuff that it takes to make them feel like who they are. Because let me tell you this, sometimes people are wearing all the stuff they're wearing because they're either trying to cover their insecurities. We put makeup on the way we feel. Come on, especially as women. So we have to have this kind of purse, this kind of makeup, this kind of hair, these kind of shoes, because it makes us feel like who we are. Mm-hmm. Men mask themselves in their watches, in their jobs, in the women they have on their arm, on the cars they drive. All of this. But can you be who you are without any of that stuff? Are you secure without anything else that makes you be who you're quote unquote supposed to be? Yes. And so you, Tia Crockett said, when I take my hair off, come on, listen, but it's real.
Absolutely.
Can you be who you know?
There are times when us was like, oh my God. It's like, I love you for real.
Right.
Women, you understand, and see the thing about it is,
one day you were changing hairstyles, and so my wife like, come here, help me get this out.
Help me get my weave off, please.
And I'm sitting there like I'm cutting strings and stuff, because you know what I'm saying, again, transparency. See, this is stuff people don't tell you about. Right. She be like, oh, don't make sure you don't cut my hair, just cut my.
Right, because he has to. He has to see the real me.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we met, I didn't have a weave in or whatever. I had my hair. But he.
Hello. Somebody says, yeah, especially when they take out the teeth. See that's gonna happen one day. So you can say what you want to. Yeah. Eventually, you're gonna have some bridges or some teeth.
Right. And sometimes people may have that now, and you don't even realize,
what's
really going on. And so
I got a friend that I know He don't have, and none of his teeth are his.
And how
he
long?
bought them, they're his.
Right.
And he was under 40 when this happened.
See?
He had none of his teeth were his. So he would take his teeth out and put them in the little bowl at night, in the little denture stuff. So you marry somebody and you find out you go to kiss them on the wedding day, and then you find out them ain't their teeth. I'm just saying. You get married. I remember one day, oh, this is so funny. So we were walking by. We had a friend of ours come to visit us. I think I told this story before. I had a friend of ours come visit us. And so she was staying in our guest bedroom. And so I was leaving our bedroom, walked by her bedroom on the way to the kitchen, and I looked to the left and looked in the room, and there was a like a lamp over there. She had took her wig off and put it on the lamp. And I looked at the lamp and I ran back in the room and I said, baby, she took her hair off. And when she came out of that bathroom, she did not look like the person that we met at the bus station, at the airport. She didn't look like that person. It was totally different. So I'm like, man, I can only imagine when you take your teeth, your hair, your nails. Come on. Right. You got to know who you're really marrying.
Yes.
Then you got to be happy with them.
Right.
And again, even as a person, I was not happy with myself. And let me tell you something else. You're gonna like this. You cannot ever satisfy somebody who is not happy with themselves.
Wow.
I've seen people.
Wow.
They've married people, and you tell them you love them all day long. You tell them how much you care about them, and you can never prove to them how much you love, because they're dealing with insecurity. They're dealing with rejection. They're dealing with a past abandonment when they were a child, when their last marriage, their last relationship, and now here you are living in a bubble, in a glass house, in a house where you stepping on eggshells all the time because that person is not secure, and because of their insecurities, you got to live in a glass house. So now they're jealous. If you talk to somebody, they're jealous. If you take too much time getting home from work, they're jealous. If you smile at somebody at church, they're jealous. The problem ain't you. The problem is them. They're insecure. But somebody told us, we were sitting having a conversation the other night at this restaurant, and the person was telling us about they were married. And so this person said, I got married the first time, and then they talked about their second marriage. So the first marriage, they said they were 24. They got divorced from the person because they worked too much. They said the husband was a workaholic. Now they got married, and they said the person they married was a narcissist. But can we be honest? Sometimes the thing that we're attracted to is the thing that we don't like. So they got married to this person who was a narcissist, but what attracted you to the narcissist? And so it's to be, well, they say, that the narcissist doesn't tell you who they are until after you get with them. No, but you could see the warning signs. You just ignored them. You ignored the warning signs. You knew who they were. You could tell a little bit of who they were. And so this person said, well, I'm leaving them. They cheated on me with my best friend. So we went through all these processes. And so we're talking to people all the time that are dealing with these things in marriage.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying to you tonight that you got to know who you marrying. Come on. Tell them, look, baby, I know you cute, but I know them are not your real eyelashes. Take them off and let me see what you look like without them on. Take them contacts out. Let me see what your eyes really look like.
You might as well tell them, because like me, I sometimes I'm in the living room or in the family room or whatever, and I take them off, and he finds them. So they got. He's like,
hey, tell him to wipe them eyelashes, them eyebrows on that you done painted on them.
Sometimes he get a mix up. He like, your eyebrows over here. I'm like, those are not eyebrows, they're eyelashes. Thank you. And so he's like, I found another pair of eyebrows.
So I'm like, so this is stuff that's real, y'all. I mean, it's real. People say what they want to, man.
Yeah,
it's
I just
real.
started wearing eyelashes like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes.
But I see them everywhere. I mean, it be everywhere. It's just everywhere. Eyelashes. I be telling, he's asleep. Bless his heart. He's knocked out over there. Don't wake him up. He's knocked out. Yeah. So you got to look at that. And then you got to ask yourself, what are the things that your spouse likes and you like? What do y'all work together on? What's the common purpose? That's another thing. We like to create things together. So I'm a creator, man. I create stuff. That's what I do. I'm a creator. So we enjoy creating stuff together.
Right.
So there's sometimes when we're building something or doing something and we're doing it.
Yes.
Let's do it together. And so we've birthed so many businesses and so many ministries and so many conferences and so many ideas and so many different even sons and daughters that we've birthed, but we enjoy doing it together.
Right.
So find out how to do things together. Find out how to build something together. Find out how to create something together.
Right.
Even after you have children, still build things together that keeps your marriage together. Sometimes that's why people fall apart, because you're not building anything together. You were meant to create things. Right. He was meant to deposit. You were meant to help bring it to fruition and push it back out.
Yes.
And so that's what happens. So learn how to build something together. So she's laughing at me. And then be with your best friend. Learn how to pray together. Learn how to create things together. Learn how to enjoy being together and doing life together. Don't marry anybody that you can't. Let me say this. Don't marry anybody that you've never seen them get upset about anything. Because you need to know how they're going to handle being mad. You need to know how they handle being upset. You need to know how they handle the pressures of life. What happens, brother, what are you going to do if you've been the primary breadwinner and you get laid off? I had a friend of mine, and he was the senior pastor of a church in Denton. I think his salary at that time was, $150,000, almost $200,000 was his salary at this church. He got laid off. Basically got, I won't say fired, but that's basically what happened. The church went through a big church split, and then they had to release him. He went to another church where his salary was only like $90,000, but he had to take a demotion. And then his wife had to go back to work, and she hadn't worked in like 10, 15 years. And so now here she is having to go back to work. And so the question is, are you still going to love your spouse even when they can't do the thing that it seemed like you married them for doing?
Right.
Then I have another situation where the husband, I remember telling y'all the story, the wife got, I don't know if it was cerebral palsy or something. She came up with something like a debilitating disease or a deformity in her legs, and she couldn't walk anymore. And so when she had this paralysis below the waist, well, there were a lot of things she couldn't do anymore. So now that she can't do some things that married people are supposed to do, can you stay in it? You know, and so this brother would still push this sister.
Stay in it and be faithful to it.
Man, this brother pushed this sister everywhere she wanted to go. She was in a wheelchair and he was still pushing her. I know another situation where the brother got diabetes. He had diabetes, and they were older. He was diabetic, and then he got gangrene in one of his feet. He had to cut his feet off. Now he's in a wheelchair. Well, are you going to still love your spouse? Are you still going to be faithful to your spouse? Are you going to still commit to your spouse? What happens if your spouse gets sick? You know? That's right. And so sometimes people say that. Now, Shanteria, you said for better or for worse. That sound good until you're in a situation where your spouse, now you got to work 3 jobs. Let's go back to acrimony. That brother was trying to get that thing to work, and she was working the 2 jobs. He really wasn't in a position to work. She gave up too soon. Later on, that brother, he gave her $10 million.
Right.
But baby, she could have had all of that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And how, the thing about it is, even going back to that a little bit, how far can you go, or should you go? And, that whole thing was total chaos anyway. But sometimes being able to endure in the long haul, it's a
tough place.
It is.
And then you say, how long do I have to put up with this? How long do I keep going through this? Because we know people that are married, got divorced, remarried again. Come on. I mean, I know somebody, they got married, they got divorced, they married somebody else, realized they had made a mistake marrying somebody else, and then got divorced from that person and remarried the first person they were married. Now some people say, well, biblically, is that right? Is that theologically correct? Can you do that? Man, please, if you made a mistake and you find out later on that this just that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you divorce. I'm not saying it's all right to divorce people. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying some of the situations that people get into is not God, and we ask God to back up what we've done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So it is a time of of reflection, you know, in relationships. If you're looking to be married, these are some of the things that you really, really, really need to really keep in the forefront of your mind. That life, of course, and we all know that life is not going to be perfect, but many times we have unrealistic expectations when it comes to marriage. Because of the television shows that we watch, the movies that we've watched, the books that we've read that tell us we're going to live happily ever after. And so your happily ever after usually doesn't always look like what they portrayed it to be.
Well, it's a movie.
Right.
It's a book.
Absolutely.
It's supposed to be sensational. It's supposed to be so over the top. Why? Because books don't sell if they're not over the top. Come on, we write books. Nobody wants to write your book about something that ain't juicy, it ain't exciting, it ain't fun.
Right.
I'm not gonna read that. I'm not gonna spend my money to buy that.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I won't even go to the movies to see that. I'll wait till it comes out on Netflix. I'll wait till it comes out on something free.
Right.
I'm not finna spend my money to go see something.
Women, when your body doesn't look like what you see on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we live in a visual society.
Oh.
What if you...
Oh. What about when you have those children and you don't lose the weight? And you were size 2 and 4 when you met, and now you a size 2 times 4. That's an 8. But what if you were size 24? I'm just saying. Right. I'm not beating up anybody's weight. I'm saying women go through this where women come to us and say, I was this size when I met. I put on a little extra weight. Now he want to act. He done lost his mind. And now when we go to the beach, instead of him looking at me, he's looking at everybody else. Or he's treating me with disrespect because I gained weight having his kids.
Right.
Now you looking at her because she a size 2. Well, I used to be a size 2, but for whatever reason. And then what happens when you go through that time of life?
Right.
What happens when you get in menopause? What happens when we go through midlife crisis? So now what do we do?
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Because men go through the same thing.
Yeah.
They go through the very same thing of change.
I'm trying to get some of this weight off, but it's just some of this stuff ain't going nowhere.
Life will bring a change
that
you didn't anticipate.
Matter of fact, when you met me, I'm probably twice of me. I'm twice the me that you met. And my wife always said, baby, you still look good. You fine, baby.
I know I'm carrying an extra person.
Come on. And most of y'all look at us and say, but y'all are pretty small. Brother, there's 2 of me. Come on.
I'm carrying an extra person.
Yeah. So what do you do when you've gained a few pounds?
Oh, I'm carrying a toddler.
And you're not the person that looks like the person that the person met when you met them.
Yes, that part.
What do you do then? People come in the office and look at our pictures on the mantle and they're like,
that's y'all?
That's y'all? Oh, God. So I'm just saying.
Give me about 30 days. I got something for you.
Right. Come on. 30 days. You better give me 30. That's 30. All I need is 30.
Give me 30.
My God. Huh?
Yes.
All you need is 30.
30.
Don't let them fool you. Listen, you can act crazy if you want to. The grass is not green on the other side.
Okay.
Listen, I told somebody the other day, I said, listen, I said the same effort that it takes to keep one side of grass on that side of the street looking good is the same what you have to do on this side. I told him, I said, listen, and what they didn't even tell you was that ain't even real grass. That's AstroTurf. They done bought some AstroTurf over there.
It's not real.
It's not even real.
It's not even real.
And you
get over there and then you realize, and they say, oh, this not real. This make believe.
Come on.
And so you're like, oh my God, I've left something that's really real
for something that's not.
For something that's not.
Baby. And you sit up there, now you like, now it's a fence up, and you can't even get back to the other grass. You like, man, I gotta sit over here and deal with this AstroTurf when I had some real grass over there. All I had to do was put some fertilizer on it and water it and cut it and prune it and get the dead spots out and plant good grass in there and get some good seeds. Man, I could have did that. But guess what? Sometimes somebody said run and find a younger woman. That's what happens. They find younger women and younger men. It ain't just, listen, Lola, it ain't just the women. It ain't just the men that's finding women. No, these women are leaving men to find younger men too. Yes. So people leave all kinds of situations. They leave the situation so they can do what they think is going to be a better situation. And I'm telling you, listen, it's more women. Let me tell you something. It used to be that men had the issues, more issues than women did. Now the women are having just as many issues as the men are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Hey, somebody say, sometimes you think the grass is green on the other side and you end up in quicksand. I like it. Okay. For real. That's what it is. Yeah. Man, you get over there, you find out that grass got ants in it. Come on, you got all kind of mess going on. Mm-hmm. And then you like, man, and that's what happened with that one young lady. She said, boy, if I'd have realized what I had when I had the husband that worked a lot, at least he was just trying to provide. Now I got this cat man that's been abusive, all kind of crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. So you got to count up the cost. Mm-hmm. Somebody says it's cheaper to keep. Now I don't necessarily agree with some of those principles. Some of that's worldly stuff, and we don't get into that. But I do believe that it takes work to make your grass green.
Right, and what sometimes people don't understand, the enemy is always wanting to attack covenant.
Right.
He's always after covenant, and he will try to deceive you to believe that it's better somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But what you don't realize is the grace that God gave to you was for the two of you, not for you by yourself.
Wow. And then here's another one. I just thought of when you said that. It was for the two of you, not the four of you, and not the three of you. Right. Come on, it's just for the two of you.
Right.
And it's not for one. It was for two. It wasn't for three. It wasn't for four. It was only for two.
Absolutely.
Somebody will catch that on the way home tonight. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so operating in the grace that God has given to you. Now, again, every day is not going to be perfect. Every day is not going to be pretty. Every day is not going to be, the best day. But it's the grace that God has given you to endure those trying times, to endure that process, to endure that season of your life, to endure. If God has brought you two together, then through the worst of times, you're going to be able to endure. Mm-hmm. Through the best of times, you're going to be able to do greater things. And so you have to be able to be prepared for the worst of times, so that you can both reap the harvest in the best of times.
That was good. And so what you got to do is be able to endure. This one's going to be funny. Anybody ever been married? Anybody, when you were married, you went to the Mexican restaurant. Somebody that's married is going to catch this later. You're going to learn how to roll the window down after you leave the Mexican restaurant, but keep on driving. That'll preach. Roll the window down, but keep driving. Yeah. Don't stop and get out of the car.
I had to roll.
You got to roll the window down and keep driving.
I had to roll it down.
You went to the barbecue. You ate the baked beans. Roll the window down and keep driving. Sometimes there's going to be situations in your relationship that don't always look good, don't smell good, but you just got to roll the window down and keep driving.
Keep on keeping on.
Learn how to keep on keeping on. Mm-hmm. Don't sweat the small stuff. Mm-hmm. There's times when I make the front door my closet. Okay. There's times when I make the closet, the pole down as you're coming up the stairs, all my clothes are hanging right there. Mm-hmm. That's how when that happens. Mm-hmm. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Don't sweat it. You know what? It is what it is.
There's sometimes when there's eyelashes, eyebrows,
eyebrows
on the table.
It's not eyebrows.
The eyebrows, eyelashes.
Eyelashes.
Okay, I was with brows, ashes.
He's like, I was like, well, what did you do with the eyelashes? And he's like, well, if I see them, they out everywhere. I'm just gonna throw them away. I'm like, you ain't gonna throw away my eyelashes.
And then somebody said, don't eat the beans.
Yeah.
Tia Crocker said she get mad after the Mexican restaurant. Oh God.
So then, we out, and sometimes he want ice cream, and I'm like, you're not getting no ice cream.
No, but I need ice cream.
No. Then
baby, learn how to roll the window down.
Everybody
and keep driving.
He want ice cream.
Right. So then you get to things like, each of us has things that the other one may not necessarily like.
Right.
So like I told y'all the story. She's like, oh, you ain't gonna never let that go. So somebody likes to drink tea, coffee, and stuff like that, right? So for some reason, this stuff gets left in the car. Then when it gets left in the car, it fills and flows over into...
Not all the time.
Into the everything.
Can somebody help me out, please?
No. They can't help you out with this.
Somebody help me out.
No. Ain't no help for this. And so, look, ain't no help for this.
Where my people's at?
And so it spilled all over the thing. We get in the car. The whole car smelling like old orange juice or old coffee. It smelled like it. So, right, it's what it smelled like. So, y'all don't want to hear what she said. You know how when you get the car washed and they give you a new car smell? And so she was like,
new fart,
new gas smell, new flatulence. Oh God. That's so funny. So listen, y'all gotta know that marriage is a full-time job.
Jesus.
And you gotta be able to deal with each other. Like for instance, what happened the other night? You wanted the lights, like she can't sleep with the lights on.
Yeah.
And it's got to be dark and quiet.
Dark and quiet.
And so I was still trying to do some work. So she turns, so she goes in. I got the light is on. She turns the light off. I'm like, can't you see that I'm still working?
Well, that's I said, oh, I apologize.
So she said, I apologize. So I turned my light on. And we just, but that's how things happen.
Yeah. You know, and the thing about it is learning to adjust. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest key is you are who you are. You like what you like. You don't like what you don't like. But learning to adjust. We work well together. Our personalities are different. We get along great, but our personalities are different. So therefore, I mean, he can go to sleep with everything on, with the television on, with the light on, all of those things.
I have no problem.
Okay, again, ex-military. He's used to that.
I can sleep with a tank running beside me.
Yeah. So with
I can sleep in the tank.
I want to be quiet. I want quietness.
And don't move.
Dark. I don't want a whole lot of noise. I don't want any noise. And I definitely don't want street noise. I don't want street noise.
Oh God. So when we travel, they got to put us on a high floor away from the street because if it's anywhere close to the street, let me tell you something. It's not a nice day in the neighborhood.
Listen, I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like, but I'm learning to adjust.
Yeah.
There are some times when I realize he needs to see, the thing about it is adjusting will keep your marriage together. Mm-hmm. Because if you're always like, oh, no, I don't want you in here with all of that. You got to go, turn the light off, this, that, and the other. I could easily tear down my own house.
Wow.
From the inside. I don't need anybody else. Not any other outside forces, but I can tear my own house down from the inside because I was not willing to adjust.
Wow. So wisdom builds a house.
Wisdom builds a house. So I'm like, you know what? Because there was the main, light on, so I turned that off. So he turned on the side light on his nightstand in our bedroom, and so I just turned over and went to sleep.
That's it.
It was okay. It was fine.
So you gotta enjoy that. You gotta enjoy being together. We're getting ready to get off here. Sometimes when we get on, man, I really enjoy talking and spending time with you guys and talking because I think it's important. I think marriages, man, are so important.
Yes.
Next week we got a couple of couples that we're gonna start bringing on with us. I told Reggie and Shanika I wanted them to come on with us. We're gonna be making, hopefully within the next week, we're going to make an amazing announcement. But they're an amazing couple that are connected to us. And then there's another great couple that we're going to have on here, Eric and Takandra. And so they are, I done messed his name up like 5 times a day. We were in the office doing the staff meeting. I said something funny. But I'm really, really excited about what God is doing, and I wanted to bring them on because they're doing some amazing things, and I want to highlight their marriages. And I also want them to just be able to share their testimonies, because they have some amazing testimonies in what they've been through, what they've had to endure, the challenges they've had to go through and be able to, and then they've overcome. And so I think that stuff helps other people that are married. And so we'll bring them in through, what's the thing called? Through Zoom or something to be able to let them come on the broadcast with us. Tia Crockett, bless you. We got to do something special for you. She said this is her favorite show.
Oh, wow.
Wow, isn't that amazing? And so we appreciate it. Last Tuesday, I don't remember what we were doing. We had something going on. We had a whole bunch of stuff we were trying to get done. And so we just weren't able to get everything done and get on. And then the other part of me was, y'all probably wouldn't have, it's like with me, I'm also, when I'm tired, I can be a little grumpy. So y'all probably, and then I'm also telling jokes. So if y'all wouldn't have wanted to see me last Tuesday, y'all would have been like, listen, you need to shut him down. Let him go to sleep. Put him in the bed and let him go to sleep for real. Because I was probably cutting up a little bit. And but anyway, any questions? Y'all give me any questions you guys have. I can't see the questions on Periscope.
Let me see if I can go back.
Let me see if we can get the questions on Periscope. Let me see if we can get, and now Facebook Live, I can see the questions. I'm trying to see if I thought I had it on here. I thought it was on this thing. So any questions? Yeah, let's see if we got any questions. Let's see if we can get them. Look at somebody else's prayer. It said prayers for Kanye West. What's going on with Kanye? Uh-oh. Do you keep your walls up while getting to know the person? Well, I think one of the things about, I won't say necessarily keep your walls up. I think you need to be very watchful as you build relationship.
Right.
I think the first day, not like with us, because we knew it was God, we told each other everything probably the first week or two. Mm-hmm. So, but we just knew that we knew we knew. Mm-hmm. If you don't know that you know that you know that you know, there are some things that you, like for instance, you don't want to bring your kids around somebody you're just meeting. That's not wisdom. Right. They all, and then so now if things don't work, you had your kids have been around 10 people that you said you were getting connected to. Mm-hmm. If you're even if you're a pastor, I think that's important. I've seen situations like that where you've talked to several people and now they be like, well, which one you gonna be your wife? I'm confused. Mm-hmm. So I think that that there should be some parts of you that you kind of reserve until the person is willing to make a commitment. Right. Now, once a person makes a commitment and say, okay, I think this is something we want to pursue, let's get married, then you need to share everything. So again, they have the option to marry who you are versus who you've painted the picture that you are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What words of wisdom we have for newlyweds? I think one of the biggest words of wisdom for newlyweds is don't sweat the small stuff.
Don't sweat the small stuff and keep people out your business.
Yep, that's another big one. Because your mother and your sister and your family members will not forget and your friends will not forget the stuff about your spouse that you tell them when you were angry and just venting. So even if you got a vent, there is nothing there is nobody in my family, nor is there anybody in my wife's family that can say anything negative about either one of us. Because if we've never talked to our families about anything. They don't know. They don't know at all. Not at all. Now, maybe our pastor knows some stuff, and some of our accountability partners have known some stuff that we've had to go through.
That we know can give us godly counsel from an unbiased position.
Right. Somebody said, when you know God intended for you to be together in the growing process, did you ever separate for a time prior to being married? We did. We separated. We were 7 days. We said 7 days we're going to fast and pray. We're going to see what God says. My wife said, is this my brother or my husband?
Because I didn't want to get too mixed up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, and that's one thing God had told me through this prophetic voice several years prior to that. And so I wanted to make sure, because even though we both love God.
Somebody said words for newlyweds, roll down the window.
Yeah.
Even though we both love God, what you going to say?
Even though we both love God, or you may both love God, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to be together.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there is a connection, so to speak, maybe you get along with each other, still doesn't mean you're supposed to be together. So we have to really sometimes have other people that we know is tried and true to observe the thing, to observe it and really seek God, in that whole process.
Now let me answer both of these two. One is the second question is, how do you know whether he's an assignment or a spouse? Please expound. That's your question. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna answer this question. What are the right questions to ask on the first date? Shantira, now because you're a daughter, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't believe that your first date should be with you two alone. I don't believe that. I don't believe you need to get in the habit of finding time to be together alone all the time. Him picking you up, you picking him up, y'all going places together, y'all hanging out, y'all hee and ha holding hands. I don't believe that, because I believe it opens doors. Mm-hmm. And I believe when the wrong door is open, brother, sister, brother, you're going to be in trouble. Mm-hmm. So I think my personal opinion is that when you do that, you need to have accountability people that you can go hang out with, because I just think now in the world you can do that. I think in the kingdom that's dangerous. Because again, what do you do when you open the door and you were in the world, and in the world you can, when the door is open, you door open, baby, let's go.
Somebody say, what about a daytime lunch? Yeah, I think that's good.
I think a daytime lunch can be good, but daytime lunch can be dangerous too. Because daytime lunch, unless you're just really solid, let me say that, unless you're really solid, because daytime lunch, the kids at school, ain't nobody at the house, and so you want to let temptation, you don't want your good to be evil spoken of, you don't want to be hanging out all the time, you don't want to be doing pet kisses and flirting and petting each other all the time. That's just not good, because temptation can come to all of our doors. Don't ever think you're so deep and so anointed and so powerful and you've been fasting so long that, because let me say, women are emotionally stimulated and men are physically stimulated. So it is not like it's not like that you're gonna go out in your ugliest attire. It's not like you're gonna go out and and you say, I'm pretty strong in that area, but that doesn't mean he's gonna be strong in that area. Because number one, you don't want anybody that's not attracted to you. You don't want a man that's not attracted to you, because eventually he's going to leave you for the woman who he is attracted to. So with a man, if he's sight stimulated, then you don't want to be around him and y'all always petting and he's all, no, don't be playing with me. Even the Bible said, Solomon said, don't arouse me until the time. And so isn't that what the scripture says? And then that's really what it's saying. In the Song of Solomon, there is a time for you to be in that environment where you can experiment, and that time is within marriage. Now, some people don't agree with this, but I've seen too many people fall because you're around each other too much and stimulating to each other too. My wife, her thing is the touch. That's your love language, but it's also quality time. When I take you to dinner, I take you shopping, I'm spending quality time with you, baby. That opens up your emotions. My love language is communication. So when you talk to me, it opens me up. When you talk to me, you get anything. Wallet, you get anything you want. Right. When you help me fulfill my destiny, that does something for me. It speaks a language to me, so it opens me up. So my thing is, don't get in the habit. If you're not in the commit, you don't need to you don't need to be dating somebody you're not committed to. I feel like you court to marry, then marry to date. Because I think what happens is you can open that thing up to the extent, man, that the next thing you know, man, you done got yourself in some trouble. Yeah, you can just, let me tell you something. And then, you say, well, that ain't my issue. Well, that could, your issue, not being your issue could be an issue. You can say what you want to, but you still gonna have if you and I understand we be dead in certain areas, but I'm saying when you get married, there are certain requirements you're gonna have to fulfill. And if nothing in you ever wants to fulfill it, there's a problem. Does that make sense? Yeah. If I'm not attracted to you, I'm not physically and emotionally and spiritually attracted to you, then there's a problem. Right. That's why we got married after 2 months. I said, well, I don't want to be away from this girl the rest of my life. We were saved. Right. You love God, didn't you? Yes. You were preaching, prophesying, praying, all that stuff. No. You'll wake something up. I don't care how dead you are. You get around each other enough. It ain't like you go. Look. It ain't like when you going on a lunchtime date. You ain't gonna put no perfume on. Right. So you gonna go up in there. You gonna go in there.
But you gonna present your best.
Right. You gonna present your best. You know? So you tell me you gonna come to the date musty? you gonna come on with some stinking cologne on? You gonna come with some stinking perfume on? No. You gonna put your best on. You're gonna look cute. Right. You gonna make sure your face is beat. Isn't that what y'all say? Yeah. You gonna make sure your hair. What, you gonna come with your hair nappy? So they won't be attracted. No, you're gonna put your best appearance on. Some of you be like, you being over. No. I'm being serious. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know, and so it becomes sometimes a fine line. We're not saying you have to, just see each other or whatever, or talk to them just on the phone, that you can't get together, you can't go out, you can't. But just understand that the more you do it, the greater the chance of finding yourself in an uncompromising situation.
In a compromising situation.
Compromising situation. And so you definitely want to guard yourself. You want to take every measure that you can to guard yourself. You got to begin to know a little something about the person, how they interact with you, and things like that. And so we're not oblivious to those things, but just really, really, really guarding yourself and having that accountability.
Hey, somebody said you go on a date in sackcloth and ashes. Yeah, because again, let me tell you something else that brothers come to me and say. Like my wife's, her thing is touch. So if somebody's speaking your love language, it awakens your love. So my wife want to hold hands. She want to cuddle. She want to hold. And so if you do that before you're married, you want to go somewhere, we walking in the mall, you want to hold hands. See, I watch this kind of stuff in people that are dating. I watch this kind of stuff in people that are in a potential courtship type relationship, where you're courting the idea of whether or not you're going to get engaged and get married. Yeah, I watch this kind of stuff, and when I'm around people that are saying I can tell they kind of like each other. I watch and see. Do you hold hands? Do you play with each other? You do the little love taps, and so you do the little love tap. You be like, go ahead, and he go, and so you the love tapped him, and he like, keep on playing with me. You play with this fire, you gonna get burnt, girl. You around here playing, and so here she is, and now you don't be touching me. Don't touch me. Don't hold my hand.
Because most time women want to be held, hold me, hug me, this, that, and the other. And so you put yourself in a situation that sometimes you may not think anything of it, so to speak, but in his mind, he's already gone there.
Right. He already gone there.
In his mind.
You come out with your little cute skirt on.
Yes.
And then let me say this. I'm finna hurt somebody. I don't care how saved that brother is. If you tell me you come out in your cutest little outfit and it doesn't do anything for him at all, you better run.
And quick.
And I can tell you more about that in person.
Don't wait to run. You better run.
But if you come out in your cutest little outfit, and he's so saved that he don't be like, now you looking real good in that. Because I'm saying, I love the Lord. But when my wife walk in the room, I don't care if I'm preaching, teaching, or what I'm doing. If there were times when my wife would drop me off, and she would drop me off, and I'd get to the meeting early. When she walk in the meeting, I'm like, So you don't want to marry nobody that you're not attracted to. And women, you don't want to marry anybody that doesn't stimulate you emotionally. If you young and you don't know any better, the only thing you say, man, he sure got a fine body, baby, them 6-packs gonna turn into 15 packs one day. Them big, them big arms and stuff, eventually gravity gonna hit us all. And so you better know that person can stimulate you more than just physically. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
just like anything else. And but then the other thing is, it's also a problem if they don't stimulate you at all. Mm-hmm. If I don't get your mind, you said, man, I love the fact that you
right, absolutely, Michelle, J. Miller. He will look at you and say, you look good, but he must be a man that's able to honor you as well.
Now I agree with that, because I told myself I'm not gonna kiss you. I'm gonna kiss you on your forehead. Mm-hmm. And boy, that's why I had to say, listen, no. We're not waiting no year. We're not waiting no 6 years. This ain't gonna be no long courtship, because I understand that there was a part of me that, although I honored God, I knew I wanted more than just to kiss her forehead. Listen, I want to be with you the rest of my life. This is going down, baby. Mm-hmm. So it's important. I agree with what Michelle said, but then the other thing is, now listen, Michelle. Now this gonna be tough. Now Michelle J. Miller, this is my really good, really close sister. I'm talking about like we real family.
Right.
So we're really, really family. And but Michelle, let me say this. I'm gonna get in trouble. Michelle, you're gonna get me later. You're gonna probably call me and get me, right? But we were over 40, or really close to it, when we got married.
We were close
to it. So when you're close to over your 40 or your later 40 mark, and you've already gone through some of those processes, can I be honest? It's different than when you're looking at it at 20-something. Uh-huh. Now, Mother Kathy, she's known me now since 1998, I think. Mm. That's almost, what's that, 20 years, 30 years? Uh-huh. Yeah, 2008, that's almost 20 years. Uh-huh. That Mother Kathy has known me. Uh-huh. And so she'll tell you, I've been pretty much the same way ever since she's known me. Uh-huh. But I'm saying to you, I just lost my thought when I saw Mother. What was we talking about before that?
Oh, different when you're in your 20s.
Right. There's a difference when you're in your 20s and you see the person that you're interested in, and when you're in your 50s or a little bit above. Mm-hmm. At the 50s and above, what happens when you're dating somebody and y'all just got saved? He don't know nothing about honoring God. He don't know nothing about honoring himself. And he don't even know how to honor himself. And she might not either. Mm-hmm. What happens when you're the woman? Check this out. What happens when you're the woman or the man who has been taught that pleasing the person that you like is a matter of sexual activity? Because some people are like that. Mm-hmm. I like him. I want to make him happy.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this. We have seen situations that recently came to us, information came to us, where the man of God, listen, ladies, listen. The man of God said this person was telling them, okay, I'm interested in you. God told me you were my husband. And he said, I could have went there the first day.
Right.
That's just how much she wanted me. He said, I could have done that the first day. So sometimes it's not always the guy that has to honor the woman. It's the woman that's like, hey, I want you and I want you now. I don't care what.
Okay. Especially when we hit that 30 as a woman.
I don't care what age it is.
Well, no, but usually it's when you hit the 30 thing that you're looking at, can I still have children? Can I still do this? Can I still do that? And you're like, I need a man. Mm-hmm. Right. And so all of those things are important.
I need a man and I need him now.
Right.
We'll worry about the other stuff later.
Oh, yeah.
We'll worry about other stuff later. I just need what I need right now, but we'll worry about other stuff later. We'll work that part out later.
Grown folks need to be as holy as we want the kids to be. You know what? Now, Tia, I agree with you. But I'm dealing with like the real life of stuff that we've been dealing with. And I love what Tia said. She said grown folks need to be as holy as we want the kids to be. Why do we start making and breaking rules? I don't know why we do it. But I'm telling you that sometimes I see people who...
I'm telling you, we talking about real life situations.
Some of this stuff is...
They said, I could have done that the first day. And they say they both love the Lord. They love the Lord.
Oh, God. Okay, this is getting funny. Let me plug this in on this side. But this stuff is real, y'all. This stuff is real. When I tell you it's real,
it don't work.
This stuff is real. It don't work.
That's a different computer.
Oh, it is. It ain't work. But I don't even know. Okay. But listen, This stuff is real. It's real. Don't let people not think that make you think this stuff is real. This stuff is real. If you do Facebook, I can do Periscope right here. Yeah, this Periscope's right here. That's what that one is. So just do Facebook, and that's what this one is. Okay.
Yeah. So what
is it appropriate for a saved woman to let a man know that she is interested in him? You know, I don't think it's wrong for the man to know. I think the man needs to know that you. But here's my thing. I don't think it's right for the saved woman, unsaved woman, anybody to be like, hey, to be the one who becomes the main aggressor.
Right.
Or for you to be on your knees.
God told me you my husband.
Or you to be the one that's on your knees proposing to him.
Right.
I know it's 2018, but I'm still old-fashioned, old school. I still think a man has certain responsibilities in a relationship, and I think a man ought to be able to propose, because you don't want a man you got to propose to no way. Yeah. Right. I don't think you don't want me if you got to propose to me. That ain't gonna work. You got to come ask me. Will you be my husband? If you're going to propose, what else you going to have to do?
Sometimes people say, "Oh, he was shy. He didn't know. He didn't." But let me tell you something. When a man wants something or a woman wants something, they're going to go after it. Right. They're going to find a way.
And I don't think it's anything wrong with you. You know, when I could tell that she was interested in me, because when she saw me, her eyes lit up. She was just smiling and grinning, and so, and so you knew. A man can tell when a woman's interested, So you don't have to be like, hey, I like you. Let's talk. I mean, I just don't agree with that.
Well, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, well, that is a good question. What do y'all think? Jason Knight, you on here. Jason, what do you think? Michelle, let's talk about this. Let's deal with both sides of the thing. Let's deal with the older generations and the younger generations, because millennials do things different. But I'm over 40, just a few seconds over. I won't tell you how much, because my wife looked at me like, you better not say it either. But I just think, and I'm saying this based on experience, I'm not giving younger people an excuse. I'm just saying, if you haven't been saved, it's different. Like I said, Michelle and Marcus are getting ready to get married.
And the thing about it,
now mother Kathy, mother been with me for years. She said it is so true. Now let me say this. This is good. Mother Kathy has been a mother to me because we worked in ministry together, and she was with me in my previous marriage. Knew my previous spouse, went through all of those things with me, and still stuck with me. Okay? She said it is so true. Don't yield to temptation. Stay holy, and you don't have to test the water to know if the person is going to be your mate. Get married. I love that, mother. What do you think? Somebody said, I agree. I'm old school. That the man should be the one. There are women who are hunting for men, and there are women who want to be found. Period. Then
sometimes though, women will more or less feel as though they have to find the man. You know what I'm saying? So we've been seeing a lot of that. We've been seeing a lot of that where the women are really the pursuers.
Right. Michelle J. Miller, girl, now listen. Now see, this is the problem though. Michelle is a prophet. Now she a prophet, y'all, and she's a mature prophet. Sis. Michelle been saved for years. She said, I come with tremendous favor, and she said, if you can't find me, you don't deserve me. Lord, let me shout right now. This girl is something else.
Yeah. See, I done brought you some favor.
Right.
I brought you some favor.
You better say it, girl.
Yes.
And I don't mind being right about it. But listen, what do y'all think? Tia Crocker says, be found. Mother said, I've been married 42 years. Let's see what else. I agree, I'm old school. Anybody else, any thoughts on that? Somebody said they finna run on that one.
Somebody says a man knows exactly, just like a woman knows, the attraction is there.
Right. Yeah, I think a man knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let me say this. I don't think you want a man if you got to make him want you. That's a bad situation.
You got to pursue him. But you know what? Sometimes people just some people are different.
Yeah, I guess so. I just say 'cause I'm old school. I mean, like, you ain't had to pursue me, girl. I was coming for you. I knew what I wanted. I knew it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you this. Hey, listen. Mm-hmm. I need to talk to you. Mm-hmm. And you knew it too. Mm-hmm. You like, well, talk to me then. What you got to say? Huh? Where y'all at? Okay. Right. Be found. Okay, come on. Give me some more thoughts on this. Go back down. Okay. Give me any more thoughts. Anybody? Women were not made to pursue a man. He is lazy if he can't put forth the effort our path. Michelle is not playing. That's a real prophet, y'all. Start the relationship how you want it to continue. Let him take the lead. That's good. That's good. That's really good.
Right. And then what happens is later on in life, you know, you get married and then like, well, he don't initiate this and he don't do this and I feel like I have to do it all and I have to take care of the house and I have to do this and that. Well, that's how it started.
Tia Crockett is funny. Boy, I love her. She's so funny. She said if he don't search for you, he probably won't search for God and he won't search for a job or anything. I'm just saying. Tia, that was good, girl. Listen, that was real good. Good God Almighty. Somebody said Jason Knight said, I've been married for 24 years, will be 25 in July, and men knows when she's into him. Yep, that's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. Boy, I like that. If he don't search for you, he don't search for a job or nothing. That is funny. I like it though. Yep.
Wow. Right, because you have to realize what you started with, you're going to have to continue.
Right. Absolutely.
And so if you want to start always doing, always pursuing, always initiating things, then that's what you're going to always get.
Then don't get mad later when you want him to pursue and he like, I ain't never pursued. You trying to ask me to do something I ain't never did. I wasn't even pursuing you when we first met. You were the one who pursued me. So I
was minding my own business.
Yeah. So it's a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
Right. Because the thing about it is, as a woman, God may have said something to you, but let God tell the man. Because many times, the man is like, God didn't tell me that.
Right.
God didn't tell me that. And so let the confirmation come.
Shamia said it's an indicator of laziness and lack of confidence. Ooh. In some areas it could be. Because if you don't have the confidence to come to me, I just think there's sometimes, and then let me say this, you want people to get healed too. Sometimes you could, God may speak to my wife first about something, but then her thing as an intercessor is to pray, okay, God, reveal it to my husband.
Right.
Yeah, don't get in the habit of having to force your way into getting things done. That ain't gonna work. Well, any other questions? Somebody said, I live in a neighborhood that women have these men in the house and to not let them pursue them. Wow. That was deep, wasn't it? Well, I'm hidden in God and you have to be in God to find me. He is a product of your intelligent choice and vice versa. Good. As a woman of God, you should know you are a good thing, so you should expect to be found by the man of God God has for you. I like that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So true. So
absolutely.
True.
And Shamia said something. I couldn't remember what she said. I caught a glimpse. I had to be found. I'm worth finding. That's right. Let the Lord tell him. Is a 45-year-old male virgin normal? I got a friend that's 51. A brother of mine lives in California. 52. He's getting ready to be 52, and he's a virgin. He's never even kissed a woman. So I think it's. I won't say it's normal. I won't say it's normal that somebody's able to sustain like that.
Right.
But I would say if you're in the kingdom and you're a godly person, I think it can be normal.
Right. It should be.
It should be the norm.
It should be the norm.
But some stuff that's normal is not God's normal. That's why we need a new normal. Watch yourself. Okay. How do you continue to wait without being discontent? I think you can be in a place where you're. That's just my opinion. I think when it's your season, nothing can stop you.
Right.
I think when it's your time and your season, I don't think anything will stop you. This is my opinion. I don't think anything can stop you when it's your time and your season. Yeah. Somebody said the marriage started on cheating. That's what it's going to take to keep it started on a godly foundation. I think that's real because I think even from the perspective, if you cheat on God, that's deep. Because if people cheat on God, they'll cheat on you.
Right.
That's deep. My puppy woke up on that one. He's like, you talking mighty loud over there, Daddy.
Don't break him over
What are you doing?
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit. Go sheepy. Go sheep. Go sheep. Go sheep. Go sleep down. There you go. Good boy. Yeah, that's my man. Thank you so much. Okay, praise the Lord. All right. Well, listen, we're getting ready to get out of here. We love you guys. Thank you for being a part of Pillow Talk tonight. I pray something we've said has blessed you. And
right, because we want you to be successful in giving yourself the best advantage possible.
That's it.
You know, in a marriage, sometimes we can almost jeopardize certain things because we went ahead of God.
That's it.
And so we want to make sure that we're in God's timing and we're in His perfect will. One thing for sure, you will never be disappointed when you wait on God.
I love that. Let me say, do this for us. Go to our website, www.LaJunandValora.com. Make sure you check out all of the products, all the conferences. We're getting ready to do a meeting in Port Arthur, Texas. Then we're getting ready to do another meeting in August. This is going to be our global mega suddenly. And it's going to be an amazing meeting here in Tampa, Florida. Really excited. If you would, please follow our Periscope page. If you're watching us on Periscope, please follow our Facebook page if you're watching us on Facebook, because that'll keep you guys connected to us. We really appreciate you following us. It means a lot to us. Thank you. We love being transparent, Don, because I think it helps people. You really can't help anybody if you're telling lies. So it doesn't help if you hiding stuff and you hide the truth about different stuff that goes on. We enjoy doing this, so we want to be a blessing. Make sure that you go to our website. Check out our website, www.LaJunandValora.com, and like our Facebook page, like our Periscope page. Leave a comment. Let us know that our ministry has been a blessing to you. Send us an inbox. Tell us how much you appreciate it. We appreciate you. And then even for those of you who say there are some things that I would like to know more about in relationships, then if you would go in and inbox us on our website, you can go to the comment page. You can inbox us and you can tell us more about what you want to know more about, what you think more about, any of those kind of processes, because we want to be able to bless you. So again, if you like our page for it, it would mean a lot for you to go. And some of you, I see you're liking our pages now. So thank you so much for going to like the page. Yes. Stay connected with us. We really appreciate you. Hey, Mama Shireen, we love you so much. You, Mama. And and so
hello, cousin Alanda.
That's it. We love our family. And but thank you so much. Please, please, please. When will you be praying for marriages again? Ken Rose. We're gonna start tomorrow 7 days of healing, and so we're gonna be praying tomorrow for healing for marriages. So that's one of the things we will make sure we cover. Ken Rose is
during our midday scope at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Now Amanda Pryor, she says we should do a marriage conference, and we are looking at that. We're looking at doing one. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We talked about maybe calling it Pillow Talk Live or something like that, and we even thought about doing some really creative things at the conference. So we've been talking about it. We talked about it with Tamara McNair Hicks and her husband. We talked about it with a couple other couples, and so I think we're gonna do something really soon. Again, thank you for liking our page. It really means so much to us. We really appreciate it. And Amanda Pryor, yes, we are going to do a marriage conference. We just need to look at it, plan it, put it together, make it work. Thank you, all of you. So many of you are going right now and liking our page, and that means so much. You see other people liking the page? Thank you so much. That means a whole lot. I probably need to tell people that more because they would probably like the page if I asked them to like the page. But I got this thing. I just don't ever want to ask people for stuff. But we appreciate the fact that you like the post and you like the page, and that means the world to us. Thank you guys so much. That means so much. Well, I'm getting out of here because that's it. Marriage was together. Those pursuing marriage can be informed. Yep, that's it. Absolutely. Well, we love you. We're going to talk to you soon.
Love you guys. Bye-bye. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Somebody's watching from Johannesburg. Yes, the conference. If you're from Johannesburg, we would make it live for you when we do it. Somebody's watching from Johannesburg, South Africa. Some of our family and friends there. Yes. So that's amazing. Amazing. Well, we're getting out of here. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for liking our pages. Thank you for connecting with with us, and we will talk to you soon.
God
All right,
bless.
blessings. Bye-bye.